The purpose of this SOP is to show proper procedure and methods for the collection of surface water samples. Sampling is taking place adjacent to the Texas A&M golf course due to the possibility of contamination from recent construction and renovations. Analysis of water samples at a later date may determine whether concentrations of specific pollutants exceed established action levels, or if the concentrations of pollutants present a risk to public health, welfare, or the environment.
The following equipment is necessary for water sampling: dipper, pH meter, glass containers, ice box, ice pack, canvas bag, pencil, pens, permanent marker, sample labels, chain of custody, custody seals, plastic bags, paper towels, distilled water, vest, goggles, gloves, measuring tape, and stakes.
Preparations. 1. Determine the extent of the sampling effort, the sampling methods to be employed, and the types and amounts of equipment and supplies needed. 2. Obtain the necessary sampling equipment and supplies. 3. Decontaminate or pre-clean equipment and ensure that it is in working order. 4. Prepare a trip blank sample for QA/QC purposes. 5. Perform a general site survey prior to site entry in accordance with the site-specific health and safety plan.
The following are sample collection methods. First, mark off locations for sampling with stakes. Samples should be taken at 5-foot intervals, a total of 40 feet. If required, the proposed locations may be adjusted based on site access, property boundaries, and surface obstructions. Place sample jars at each stake. Use the dipper to collect the first sample at the stake located furthest downstream. The dipper should be extended into the water without disturbing the submerged sediments. Retrieve the dipper and transfer the sample into an appropriate sample container. Then attach an appropriate label to the sample container. Then take the pH of the sample before sealing the lid, record the pH reading, and clean the pH meter with distilled water. Be sure to seal the sample container. Place the sealed container in a plastic bag and then place into the cooler. Use the distilled water to rinse off the dipper before taking any additional steps. Finally, after all 8 samples have been collected, plus 1 background sample for the QA/QC, be sure to close the cooler and attach a filled-out custody seal.
A trip blank is a container free of contaminants. Trip blanks should accompany sample containers to and from the field but remain capped. They are used to guarantee that your samples have not been contaminated during transportation and handling. A background sample is a substance or location that is not influenced by the release from a site and is usually described as naturally occurring or anthropogenic. Other QA/QCs used in this SOP include sample labels, custody seal, and chain of custody.